Welcome back to another episode of Day.Sports, where we talk a whole lot about sports and not so much the X's and O's, the nitty gritty of it. My name is Chris. Usually, I would have my brother Tom here with me, but again, this one is just going to be a solo episode. So you're going to have to hear me rant and rave for the next, 15, 20, 25 minutes, depending on how long we're going to go. A little bit of a special episode, this one today, though, and it is, I guess, a little bit fitting that the first two episodes did start with myself, and the 50th is by myself again. The plant, the reno, we're just going to do the damn thing. So when I say it is a little bit of a special episode, it is the 50th episode of Day.Sports, which I know only a little achievement at this point, but it is cool that we've managed to get this far. So it's a little bit of a raise the bat metaphorically. What I've got is a nice little Milton mango, totally mind you. So that's going to be a little celebratory raise the bat. There you go, 50 runs on the board for Day.Sports. So big shout out for anyone that has got around us in any way, shape or form in these 50 episodes. All the support has gone a long way. I know it is only a small milestone, but do appreciate any of the support. So yeah, shout out to anyone that's got involved. Try to smash that Jake Trbojevic button as well. That thumbs up button goes a long way to help out on YouTube. Go follow all the socials, all that sort of stuff. You know the gig. I'm going to take a big old deserved sip of this real quick. There's no splitting the G's. There should be splitting the X's, honestly. It's a little bit like that. I'm not going to place that between my legs because that could be seen as potentially inappropriate or look a little bit funny on camera. And I've actually got a phone sitting here for once in my life, so I can just go through the topics. Makes it a little bit easier than a laptop sitting on my lap. But Reece Walsh drinking water out of a toilet was not on my bingo card at all yesterday. I got home, as a lot of us do, you sit there, have a little bit of a doom scroll, whatever else, and this thing popped up. I think it might have been actually in the P's and D's that I first saw it, and I'm like, oh, Reece, what are you doing? We've seen all sorts of mixed outcomes from, toilet incidents and stuff like that with players. But this one, evidently was him just having a little bit of a drink out of a brand new toilet that was installed in a renovated place or whatever he's doing at the moment. And he's having scoops. He's having lashes of it. And I'm just like, look, it's not the greatest look of all time. Clearly, it's going to be a brand new toilet. Like, unless it was some mad Monday, like, boys are deep on the bender, it's obviously a new toilet. And the media's got a hold of it, and it's been the biggest beat up of all time. The Brisbane Broncos have had to put out statements being like, look, it was just a joke, it was meant to be private, and it's just like, it's just one of those wild things. And yes, it is a new one, and I'm assuming he's probably got some sort of plumber. I'm not sure if it's involved in family company or whatever going on to install it, but you cannot 100,000% look me in the eyes and tell me that there's a chance that that thing hadn't been used beforehand. One thing that I did notice, a little bit of an interesting choice. It looks like a black toilet. Don't see many of those getting around, so that's a good one. But Reese's comments during the video was just a new form of recovery and whatever else, good for your muscles, this, that, and everything else. And look, I'm no expert on hydration, but I dare say there might not be enough salt in that particular mix that he's got there in the toilet. It might not be the option for you. Might want to stick with your Gatorade, Powerade, something like that. Because toilet water just might not be cutting it for the muscle recovery there, Reece. But just a beat up of a story. Smartest thing to post on social media? Probably not gonna lie, but I think it was like Broncos put out intended to just be kind of like a private thing. I don't know if it was on his Snapchat or whatever it might have been, but it's just like, yeah, come on boys. Like, I'm just strongly at the belief that maybe not every single one of them, but they need a social media man. They need somebody, and I'll put my hand up, I'll volunteer that if you want to upload something to your story, you want to post something out, whatever it is, you send it to me first. I'll run my eyes over it. I'll have a little look-see at it and just see, look, is this the greatest idea? And this is not in relation to Broncos players, but, are you putting up on your story a photo of you with allegedly a white substance bag in your mouth? Yeah, probably don't post that one. I can let you know those type of things. That, or like there should be some sort of setting in their account where they upload something, it just locks it for 24 hours. Just locks it, that way they can have a look back later and go, yeah, fuck, probably shouldn't post that one. But yeah, absolute doozy by Reece. Like, I saw it and I was just like, dumb. It's just boys being boys. I know people don't like that saying, but it's just another one of those things where you're just like, righto, whatever. It is what it is, sort of thing. So yeah, probably stick to the Gatorades on that one. A little bit gross. And, I was talking to somebody about it today, and what gave me more of the ick, if that's a way to say it, or something that grossed me out, was honestly look at Ilias' dancing. I found more revolting than the actual toilet video. But yeah, not the greatest. And it's been a doozy of, I guess, 24 to 48 hours for the Broncos. You got bloody Reece doing that. And then this afternoon, pretty much there. So it seems like Shibasaki has gone out and had one of the great Sunday sessions of all time, because he's been dropped from the Broncos team, sent back to Rezzies by Madge Maguire this week. Teamless Tuesday comes out. I'm looking at the teamless Savo, having a scroll through, and I'm looking, I'm like, okay, Arthur's is in. I was like, fuck, they dropped Karapani. I'm like, that's so rough. He's been playing so well. And then I'm like, hang on a second. Fucking no Shibasaki in there. And sure enough, he's been named in the reserves. More and more starts coming out. Obviously, everyone else getting a hold of it and whatever. Different people posting about it. And it turns out, yeah, supposedly disciplinary action has been taken on Shibasaki by Madge and the Broncos at this point. And shout out to anybody in the Broncos fan group on Facebook on there. The Courier Mail's posted about like what's going on, of course, behind a paywall. People have gone through and like screenshotted it all, so that's very, very nice. But yeah, so you read into that, and apparently on Sunday night after they got back from Townsville, he's gone out for a little bit of a rip and a tear on the town of Shibasaki. Allegedly rolled into training under the influence, or clearly had been under the influence of alcohol and wasn't able to train, or whatever the story might have been. And Matt just went, yeah, nah, that's not going to be happening here at the Brisbane Broncos. Not professional enough. So yeah, I'd love to know the venues and whatever Shibasaki got up to on the Sunday night. I can't say that I really hit the town too much of a Sunday anymore, so there might be some cheap drink spots. Not too sure. Some good places for Shiba to go. And I'd like to know as well, were some of the other boys out with him? Like, it's one of those things. They've gone out, had a great time. The other boys gone, okay, right, it's time to pull a pin in this one. We've got training tomorrow, and Shiba is just like, nah, I'm fucking kicking on. I'm going to keep going, and just enjoyed himself a little bit too much. And imagine as well, if a couple of the boys were out with him the night before, they just see him rolling, and don't know if it was late, but they see him rock up to train, and knowing that they're all out the night before, and when your mate, you see them the next day at work, or fucking, you wake up at old mate's house or whatever, and they just come out and they look like fucking shit. I wonder if that was the case with Sheba. But yeah, wonder what the poisoner choice is too. I know he spent quite a long time up there in Townsville. It could have been a bit of rum and coke action. The old black rat, that will, in fact, get you down. Yeah, a little bit of a doozy, because Sheba, of course, has had a fucking hell of a season. I think he's the leading try scorer for them at the moment, or up there anyway in the NRL. Especially with Storm coming in, big body, good in defence, obviously super gun and attack. Like, I think we need a guy like him in there, but Madge is kind of laying the ground rules out and putting a line in the sand, and yeah, unfortunately, shit like that just happens with it. So yeah, a bit of a doozy there, Sheba. Definitely gonna miss you. Gonna jump into a bit of a round recap of 26. Let's have a look, see what we got. Thursday night scaries. Bulldogs beat the Baby Panthers. This one was pretty obvious type of thing. Like, there was a world that Penrith won this, and it wouldn't have surprised me at all. But Bulldogs, they should have won that. Obviously, the odds reflected it. Jacob Preston went out and had just a fucking worldie of a game. I was banging on to one of my mates at work about it. I was just like, Preston's going to get over. Preston's a gun. And I think we might have missed a little silver lining there for a hat trick, and I'd hate to know what that was paying, but he had an absolute day out. So yeah, Preston, gun. People were quite disappointed, Penrith fans obviously, with the entire team kind of getting a rest in this round. You can see it from a fan's perspective. I think it was Dobbo was chatting with fucking Gordy, and it would have been James Graham about it and whatever else, and that fans would have missed out and come to and from. It might have been the only game that they could have gone to, and it's just like, yeah, it sucks. It's unfortunate, but the teams can do what the fuck they want at this stage, and particularly a team like Penrith. What's this going to be their sixth final series in a row? They can kind of do whatever. They've been there, done that. It's worked for them before. They've named the full team this week. If you can get to the game, it's one of those things. Obviously, some people can't pick and choose, but big disappointment there. But they did it for a reason. Watch them fucking manage to go through and win a bloody grand final or something like that. Eels, they upset the Warriors, and I don't know, upset was one of those ones was needed to win it to stay in the top four, get ahead of the Broncos, get ahead of the Sharks and whatever else. But Eels, they have been playing some pretty good footy recently. Like, I'm surprised they haven't been ill-timed. I thought at home in New Zealand they would have been able to do it, but they came in, got the chockies, got it done. A little bit controversial there, obviously, at the end. Iongi's had a hell of a day out, but one player that I reckon he'd have to be a shout for Rookie of the Year, though, is going to be Leka Halavasia. Like, he has just been amazing. He's had some particularly good games, obviously some game winners, whatever else. But I just love a back rower that just runs a nice lawn, can fucking just bust through, just nice little short ball, top speed, bang, crashes over. Like, I just love to see it. Nice little ones by Leka. And then, yeah, obviously there was a bit of controversy with the knock on there, blow up the and unfortunately the Warriors fan, a little bit of a track history with it. I forgot old mate's name, but went up for the ball and they went it through this thing with a fine tooth comb. Here's me, like, because I'm pretty sure that would have won them the game as well. And like, as much I did tip the Warriors, but I wanted them kind of to lose just because Broncos. If we got it up over the bloody fucking Cowboys, then bang, top 4 for us. So I wanted that out of anything. And they're gone through and you can see old mate's fingers kind of just like flutter and big blow-ups from there, social media blow-up. But it was actually in the not the press conference, like they interviewed him after the game. They're like, did you touch it? And old mate owned up to it. He's like, I did get a hand to that. And that kind of just like squashed that all out. Bruce, they beat the Storm. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how many people saw this coming. This was down at Amy Park as well, so that's huge for the Roosters. And the Roosters, like, they've been thereabouts and probably warming into these finals, pretty steadily. No Sammy Walker in this one. It pretty much did end up like I thought. Ended up being Mark Nwangi Tawase ball, which resulted in him getting a hat trick. Fucking hell, did he have a day out? Didn't do anything necessarily too crazy this game, but he is on fire at this point. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, yeah, big blow-ups from Craig Bellamy. He was very disappointed with his team after this. And, yes, they were resting players, this, that, and everything else. Like, yes, the part of that was there. But he was not too impressed with their performance, in the words of GSP. And then I'd like to put it out as well. So, Kevy, is he going to be picking Mark Nwangi Tawase for the tour over in England this year? I personally think he's going to be in the squad, but it'd be hard to leave him out at this stage. And it gets me excited to see what like his capabilities are going to be moving forward. But, the stuff that he's been able to pull off, he's been such a gun try scorer on the wing in particular. Like, it's just freaky. I think it'd almost be rude to leave him out at this stage. Like, I'd be taking him over there, at least part of the squad. Like, the bloke has already played international for the Wallabies and whatever else. He's been there, done that. It's not going to be his kind of first rodeo. Yes, NRL, different ball game, but, what he's been able to pull off in this season alone, yes, he's not eligible for Rookie of the Year and whatever, which is pretty much like, okay, well, Mark would have got that. It's been well documented. But yeah, bit interesting there. Raiders, they beat the Tigers. They go on to win the minor premiership, so huge. Love to see it for Ricky. Very, very happy for him. I know it's only a small step, but, coming from a team that essentially was written off by so many people at the start of the year for Wooden Spoon, and I can safely put my hand up and say I was not one of them. I did not think Sticky and the boys from Canberra were going to be anywhere near there, but minor prems is like ridiculous stuff, and against Tigers, it's a game they probably should win as well. But one thing I'd like to know is what is Ethan Strange made out of? Jarrell Skelton flew out of the line at one point and he cleaned him up too. Cleaned him up. You got Ethan Strange getting up like, yeah, right, I just got tackled pretty hard, whatever. And bloody poor Jarrell Skelton, I don't know what part of his body hit on Ethan Strange, but he was in a bad way for a little bit. Luckily, he walked up the field, everything was okay, but it was looking a little bit dicey there for a little bit. Looked like he had a pretty bad head knock, but yeah, Ethan Strange literally might be made out of bricks. And thanks to the random stats guy, so Canberra are the 8th team in NRL history to go from bottom nines in the prior season to go on to win the minor premiership. So, huge from them. Love to see it from the Milk. They're just a fun team to get around. Need a little something. Just give me a moment. Oh shit! Fucking decapitating the mic. Try not to spill that on the mic, or more importantly, on the computer. Manly Hump Dragons. Pretty much about all I've really got to say about it. I feel like they're really warming into the DC going away party. He had a hell of a game. They did lose Kohler, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's coming up against the Dragons. It was kind of meant to be a bit of a shit show of a game. Tom and I pretty much drew straws in this one. I ended up picking the wrong team in this one. Went with the Dragons. I think they were in it for a little bit and then just absolutely got thrashed. So you get that. Broncos beat the Cowboys. This one, again, was just such an important game for us to get in the top four. This game had me stressing throughout it. It was a real who could score the most points type of battle. And the Cowboys, they thrive in that sort of shit. I feel like, we got out of the gates hot. Bang, bang, bang. Quick little try scorers. What did I have? I had Tony Staggs, Karapani, and Reece Walsh in my multi. So Karapani, Staggs, I go over quick as easy. The way that we started, I was like, we might actually see one of the great fistings up there in Townsville. I was like, yeah, I'm glad you got your glow and condom bloody jerseys on because you're going to need them. Like, the amount of damage that's going to be done. And then they came back, though, and you're like, fuck, all right, well, we need to do a little bit more here, boys. Thank you very much. And then Madge has gone and given them just a ridiculous spray at halftime. It was funny, we scored that try just before halftime. There was all of like about 18 seconds on the clock, and I turned to my girlfriend and I was just like, hey, yeah, they're going to go to the field. Reece Walsh is going to score. Happy days. My multi's going to get up. Sure enough, Reece just throws a massive cutout to Dean Mariner, who's got wheels for days. He takes off. Reece back on his feet, follows up on the inside. Katoni, I think, was there, and Reece. Luckily, he's gone over Katoni. Gone to Reece. Bang, scores on halftime. Multi gets up. Thank you very much for coming. Huge by Reece. But again, he's had one of those games. Yes, there's been some mistakes. I think he threw that intercept pass, this, that, and everything else. But some of the other stuff that he pulled off was just, chef's kiss. Billy Walters, fucking, how about the bloody cutout ball that he threw to Karapani too? Just fucking zing this one out to you, no worries. I've really been impressed with what he's been doing. Payne Haas, the whole team, just everyone performed amazingly. But yeah, it was a little bit dicey there, but I think the boys, I think the game plan might have gone out the window a little bit. Just, fuck it, we're going to score more points here anyway, and that's basically what happened in that game. So it was very nice to see. Sharks pumped the Knights. Look, didn't need a crystal ball to be able to tell this one was going to happen. The Knights, they've just been a punching bag for the league for the last X amount of weeks at this point. One thing from the Knights, though, well, the way that they started, I was like, fuck, Sharks are in for trouble here because Knights went bang, bang. And then it was just one-way traffic and all just went downhill after that. One thing the Knights did do was stop Cal Hero from scoring and keeping his streak up, which fucked my multi a little bit, but that's okay. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the coach is going. There's all sorts of drama happening with them. It's just a disaster, but I'm still not necessarily super impressed with the Sharks either. I know they're right there on the verge of busting into the top four, but it's I don't know about them. And then the last game of the round, obviously, we got points galore with Finns beating the Titans. Battle a Queensland derby, a bit of a battle there. Two teams that can score points. I pretty much had one eye on it, so it's pretty much all I've really got to say about it. Alrighty, but that rolls into round 27. Love to see it. Thursday night, this one, Broncos versus the Storm. Thursday night, Scaries kicks off. I am fucking stoked for this one. I am going to be getting along to this game. Managed to pick up tickets, luckily enough. It is going to be amazing. There's been a whole lot of speculation the entire, week, whether or not Bellyache was going to name full strength side. And has he what? Safe to say he's revved up. He's going to be whipping the boys home this week, putting a bloody statement out there and trying to fuck our season. And he does this every single year just about. He hates the Brisbane Broncos and he just wants revenge at this stage. It's the old enemy, really, from the 06 back in the day. I've got a bit of a distaste towards the Storm. Just everything to do with them, really, because of that. But you know what? Fuck it, bring it on. We're going to get it done over the Storm. We're going to get it done 1-12, and I see this as a really good challenge before going to the finals, because if we can't beat the Melbourne Storm, who I've said a billion times this year, who have looked beatable, if we can't beat them, I don't think we're going to be able to go the whole way. So I think it's going to be a really good test. Well, we could still go though. I won't write us off, but it'd be a really, really good test to stamp our mark, bang, beat the Storm, rolling into the finals. I think that would really prove a lot and put a whole competition on watch pretty much at this point. Both coaches coming off all-time sprays are going to have these boys revved up. We've already talked about Shibasaki's not going to be in this one, so With Jesse Arthur's coming in, I don't hate it. I'm pretty sure he's marking up against Coates, so he's going to have his work cut out for him. He's not the worst in the area at all. So yeah, we'll see how that all goes. I think this game, and I think Kevy and Dobbo have talked about it so much. A lot of people like it really could be Reece Walsh's game to win or lose. If he plays anything like the last few weeks, where he probably has been a little bit more within himself, but at the same time not scared of making mistakes. And just playing out of his skin. It's just typical Broncos thing where it's like, okay, cool. Might be in it, defensively for a bit of a tug of war, and then 15, 20-minute period, it's just going to go bang, bang, bang. And I can see us doing that against the Storm as well. I'm not sure. I forgot if they are resting anyone at all, but Jerome Hughes, of course, is back in this one. So whether or not, where is he 100%? I don't know. But, I don't hate going up against the full-strength Storm side. I'm going to go with Katoni Staggs in this one. I was going to go Payne Haas, but going Payne Haas 3 weeks in a row might be a little bit too much. But yeah, I think Tony, he's going to be looking to step up big time in this one. He wants to get the boys over the home. I'm so keen for this one. Rolling through then to the Friday, we got Manly versus the Warriors. So this one is at Brookvale as far as I'm aware. Last ever game in the Manly jersey for Daly Cherry Evans, which is wild to say. I never thought I'd see a day. I always thought that he was honestly just going to be a one-club man. We've seen it pretty much like rip their season apart. The amount of media and articles and this, that, and everything about it. We've been there, we've chatted about it, whatever else. But last game for Ches, surely they're going to be standing up big time. But on the flip side of that, you got bloody Warriors. They're going to be battling their asses off trying to crack back into that top 4. But one thing that I did see on the team list, Joey Walsh, the prodigy there at Manly, who's meant to be the future, they've got him there in the 14, and in the wrestling world, you'd have Ches essentially putting him over, it seems, to the fans. So thought that's a pretty interesting choice. So yeah, very keen to see that one, but I just see Manly. I see them being able to get up for this one. Every single time I've said, if they can't get up for Cherry, then that's it. They have done it, and they've looked pretty aggressive in attack in the last few weeks. So I think they're going to be able to get it done. I'm going to go with Manly 1-12 and Cherry Evans to score any time in his last game for them. And it does make me wonder as well, like how quickly they're going to announce if he's going to Roosters, this, that, and everything, or if he actually does end up pulling the pin. Next game, Roosters versus the Rabbitohs. We got the Cheese Bowl in this one. Again, unless you've been living under a rock, everything that's been going on with Cheese at this point. The Rabbitohs said, nah, he's fucking playing. NRL said he's fucking playing. So that's pretty much exactly what's happening. Roosters, they, looking to lock up the 8 position at this point, so they're going to be rolling out big time. Sammy Walker's back in for this one, which I love for them. Like, that team is just electric, when he is playing in that team. So he's coming back from HIA, concussion protocol, and all that sort of jazz. Mainly a big out for the Rabbitohs. Oh, actually huge. Cam Murray back on the bench actually in this one, so he's returning for the last game of the season. I just hope he is truthfully good to go and he's not coming back too early, because fuck, man, imagine getting hurt again in the last. And like, I'm touching wood that he doesn't get hurt or everything goes smooth and he revs up the boys, because they're going to be fucking going at it. These two teams hate each other and it's going to be a hell of a battle. But I see Roosters coming away at the Chockies. Like, they're looking to play finals. Rabbitohs season's over. At this point, they could be just doing it to fuck the Roosters over. And especially, no Latrell Mitchell's been named. So, in saying that, I've pretty much said, like, if AJ is going to break the record this season, Trell needs to be in there this game. He's not. Nah, save it for next year. Get everyone revved up and go from there. But yeah, I'm going to go with Roosters. I'm going to go 13 plus in this one. I think they could put a real fucking cricket score on. I'm going to go Mark Nwangi Tawase as well. All right, Dragons versus the Penrith Panthers. So this one, it is at Woo Woo Win Stadium, if that is anything to go by. Outside of that, I don't really see too much else going in the favour of the Dragons at this stage. So Penrith, like we spoke about, pretty much arrested every single man and his dog last week. Well, they're all back this week. So yeah, good luck to the Dragons on this one. I can't see this being too much of a challenge for Penrith. I'm going to go with them 13 plus and Jenkins to score any time, because that bloke loves a try, pending on the passing hands of Casey McLean, I suppose. It's tasty, though. Titans versus the Tigers. Oh, I like this. This is some good afternoon footy, this sort of stuff here. Yep. So it's almost a spoon bowl sort of game. If this was last year, it very much would be. But you basically have the Titans looking to not get the spoon. So essentially for them, this is high stakes shit. Because if they're able to win this, Knights lose, bang, they don't get the wooden spoon. Amazing sort of stuff. And speaking of which, and I know this happened last week, and I forgot, I could not find where it was posted, but I know Australia is home of all the big things, but it looks like now on Caxton Street at, I think it's the Lord Alfred or something like that, we now have the Big Des spoon. So they have fans, because it's like Dolphins hotel type of thing, whatever. They've pretty much put up a giant wooden spoon with Desi's face on it. I was going there on my way to work, and I was like, "Fuck, you're kidding me." If I can try to find a photo, I'm going to put it up. But that is hilarious sort of stuff. But good to see Keanu Keeney. He's back. He's starting at fullback, gun. Like, he could just turn this game on his head just single handedly. But one thing that did catch my eye though, there's Carter Gordon. He is making his debut, so I'm very keen to see the quality of type of player that he is. I think he's playing there in the centres, big body, athletic type of guy. But if Mark Nwanga Itawase is anything to go off with those Wallabies guys, can we get a couple more of them? Just drop drop a few of them around the rugby league world, you know? A couple of NRL teams. Here's a couple, a couple All Blacks. All right, go to the Warriors and whatever else. Like, freaky sort of stuff. And I think we're seeing the difference of, like, you know, a club team and an international team. Like, there's levels to this sort of stuff, and I think Mark in a way has kind of showed that. But yeah, you got Titans there avoiding the spoon. You know, at home, I can see them revving up for this one. Big Tino's going to lead the troops into Mad Monday like no other. They're not going to get the spoon, and they're going to get it done 1-12. And I'm going to go Carter Gordon in his debut to score any time. Doggies versus Sharks. So these are two games that are really important this weekend. You've got Manly Warriors, because the outcome of that's going to affect the Broncos. And I'm sorry if you're not a Broncos fan, but for me, it matters. You know, doing all the math with it. That one matters. So obviously, you know, you want the Warriors essentially to lose that one, which I think they very well could lose it. You know, they're holding on for dear life, and they're coming up against a team with Cherry Evans, bloody bailing after that. And then you got Doggies versus Sharks. So Sharks, again, they need to lose it or win for them to get into the four. There's a team at home that I'd like them to come up against. It'd be the Bulldogs. I can see that being an absolute packed out house. Doggies as well, like, they're locked in. They're all sweet, but at the same time, I think it's going to be a good run for them. You know, they should be able to beat a team like the Sharks. The Sharks are they're just bland, honestly. I just don't think they're going to be able to go with the Doggies at home. Those should be more than enough. Sorry for all the burping. I can't really edit that out, not going to lie. But I'm going to go Dogs 1-12 and Bronson Cherry anytime in this one. Yeah, Sharks they're just not it. Finns versus the Milk. Well, this one, essentially, every single person is going to be rested from the Milk. It is what it is. I think Seb Chris and Horsbra is going out there as captain, actually. Huge stuff for the bra. But outside of that, like, you know, they're going to be resting every single other person. I think Sticky even tweeted out, like, they got a grand final win. You know, very appropriate. The boys deserve a massive rest. They've locked up the minor prem. Home finals, happy days, like, achieve more than anyone ever imagined they could have this season. The Finns, they're just looking to finish off well. Last home game for the year, roll into Mad Monday and just enjoy themselves at this point. But so I think they're going to be going out with a bang. I think in this one, I was going to give them 13 plus, but I still think 1-12 in this one. You know, like, I think a few of those young fellas that are coming through for the Milk, like, there's some good players, so I can imagine they're still going to be able to roll with them a little bit, but yeah, a little bit too much from the Dolphins. I'm going to go with Hammer anytime in this one. Just try scoring machine. And then the last game of the round, we got Eels versus the Knights. Again, you've essentially got a little bit of spoon bowl action and another player playing his last game for the club in Dilly Bags. So this one, it would be hilarious. Titans win, Knights lose, because look, if you look at it this way, the Knights have been a punching bag the last couple of rounds for every single team. They're just 40 this week, 40 this week, 30 this week. They have been touching them up, and I think the Eels are going to do that. I think they're going to stand up big time for Dilly Bags in his last game. So I'm going to go 13 plus for the Eels, because they've been hot and horny the last few weeks. They have been putting teams away, upsetting teams. See, this is where, as well, the complete opposite could happen, where the fucking Knights manage to get over them. But I'm going to go with them, like I said, 13 plus. Dilly Bags at 6. He's going to score in his last game for the Eels. Eels up, whatever you want to do. however you make Eels noise, he's going to go out and they're going to have a hell of a mad Monday because of that as well. So huge there for the Eels. And yeah, RIP to all Unite fans. You guys need a holiday. It's been a rough few weeks. But that essentially brings us to the end of it. Hopefully Tom is going to be back next week. Go suss out Retro Rugby League's Jersey Judgment Day. It might be too late to go vote, but if not, go suss out his page and go vote on there. Again, thank you very much for all the support. Follow all the socials, like all the videos, do all the things. Appreciate it big time. Catch us all next week for the first week of finals. Get hot, horny, and ready for it. Laters.